sentence, we use the verb to be. So, I am, you are, he is, she is, it is, we are, you are, they are. And then we take the verb and we add ing to the verb. So, it becomes, in the positive form, I'm reading. Now notice, I am is contracted as always. And we say, I'm reading. You're learning. Contraction, you are. You're learning. He's relaxing. She's working. It's raining. We're listening. You're talking. And they're eating. Okay, so the verb to be contracted, then the infinitive of the verb plus ing. Not too difficult. So, look at the question form. Now, the question form is easy. What we do is we change the position of the subject and the verb to be. So, it becomes, where am I working this month? Where are you staying? What is he reading this week? What is she doing now? What is it eating, like the dog? Who are we playing? Who are you visiting? And who are they working with? All right? And then the negative. Remember the negative of the verb to be? We need it here. So we say, I am not becomes I'm not working. You are not becomes you aren't. Remember contraction. You aren't sleeping. He isn't concentrating. She isn't cooking. It isn't snowing. We aren't going out. You aren't watching TV. And they aren't studying. So this is some examples about that, okay? So, present continuous, asking or telling about something happening now at this present moment in time, okay? So the examples, I'm teaching now. You're listening now. He's learning at the moment, okay? And the other example is when you are speaking about something happening around the moment. So we're studying English, for example, this month. Or she's reading a new book this week. Or they're working on the project this week. So you see the slight difference between the two. That's important. Now, for example, I am talking. Now, to form talking, what we usually do is we take the verb, like talk, and we just add ing. For the majority of verbs, we do that. Look at the examples. Talk, talking. Work, add ing. Working. Start, starting. Now, as ever, there are exceptions in the English language. What are they? Well, all verbs that end with the letter E are exceptions. Look what happens. Have, for example, ends with E. You eliminate the E and you add ing. So have becomes having without the E. Okay? Other examples are live, living, dance, dancing, make, making. Okay, so all verbs which end in E, you eliminate the E and add ing. Then another group which is important is a group where the verbs end with a consonant, vowel, consonant. What does that mean? Well, give me example of, let's have the example of stop. Now, stop is S-T-O-P, so the end of the verb is T-O-P. Okay, so it's consonant, vowel, consonant. Yeah. So with these verbs, we double the last consonant and it becomes stop, stopping. Now notice that in English pronunciation, when there is a double consonant, we don't hear it in the pronunciation. So for example, we don't say stopping or swimming, okay, not like other languages. So the pronunciation stays the same, but we double the consonant. Examples are stop, stopping, plot, plotting, swim, swimming, get, getting. All right, so those are the different ways of spelling the present continuous tense verbs. Great. Well, now, we said we use the present continuous to express actions happening now, at the moment. Okay, remember that? She's doing her homework now. They're playing basketball at the moment. All right, so that's now. Then we said we use the present continuous to describe actions around this moment in time. For example, she's studying Spanish this month. Or we're going to do yoga. We're doing yoga this week. So around the present time. And this lesson we learned present continuous for a planned future, a programmed future. Okay, so I'm going to the dentist this afternoon. That's a plan. It's a schedule. Jack's meeting a client. That's a plan. Aunt Mary is coming tomorrow. And the question, what are you doing tomorrow? We're flying to New York. All right, so important that. Have a look at that episode again and listen for the... Now, so, have to, for daily responsibilities and obligations. Now, we use the verb have, which is conjugated. I have, you have, he has, she has, it has, we have, you have, they are, have, sorry. Then we add to, have to. Okay, that's very important. Then we add the infinitive. So, an example. I have to use a computer at work. Now, did you hear my pronunciation? I have to. Notice I don't say V, I say F. Have. It becomes have to. Have to becomes in pronunciation have to. Have to. Okay? So, I have to use a computer at work. She has to write a report. Third person has, okay? She has to write a report. He has to answer emails. All right? We have to, we go back to the pronunciation with F, we have to pay taxes, unfortunately. They have to go to meetings, which is sometimes boring. Have to, okay? Duties, responsibilities. Good. Now, the examples of questions are, do you have to speak English? We use the auxiliary do, very important. It's like the verb have. So, do you have to speak English? How often do you have to travel, for example? What language does she have to learn? And where do we have to go? So remember, use the auxiliary do and does. So that's have to, when we're speaking about simple present, is when we talk about activities or routines which take place on a regular basis. Mr. Dinosaur, Mr. Snakes. Examples, he goes to work every day, Mr. Snake. She gets up at 7 o'clock, And the question, where do you live? So auxiliaries do, does, doesn't, don't, okay? Great. Then the present continuous, we use it for something happening now, at the moment, and in the future. So the examples are, I'm reading An Italian Affair this month, for example. They're cooking dinner now, and she's meeting with Jack tomorrow. Okay? So you really are true.
Long hours. To work long hours means you work a lot of hours in a day. A lot of people take work home. This means if you don't finish your work in the office, you take it home and finish it there. Can you take work home in your job? This is different from homeworking. Homeworking means you work from home. You have a computer at home with internet access, and you do your job at home. Flexible working hours means you don't work from 9 to 5 every day. You work 8 hours a day, but you can decide when you start and finish. Part-time work means you don't work every day, perhaps just 2 or 3 days a week, or only in the morning. If you work part-time, then you have a part-time job. Full-time work means you work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You work full-time. You have a full-time job. Notice how we say in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening. We use in for parts of the day, but we say at night, and we say at weekends. In American English, you can also say on weekends. Let's take a quick look before we finish at some vocabulary. A mobile phone is the phone you can take everywhere with you. In American English, it's called a cell phone, and in British English, it is a mobile phone. A company is a business or organization where people work, and a worker is someone who works in an office or factory. Notice this work comes from the verb work plus In English, it is common to add to a verb to form the name of the person who does it. For example, teach plus equals teacher. Sing plus equals singer. And play plus equals player. Like football player. That's all there's time for now. A soulmate is the perfect person for you. In other words, your ideal partner. The best person to spend your life with. Do you have a soulmate? Here are some other useful expressions and words to talk about. Affairs of the heart, for example. A date is a meeting with a special person. We say, go on a date, or I've got a date with somebody. For example, I've got a date with Lucy. If you do have a boyfriend or a girlfriend, then you are in a relationship. You say, I'm in a relationship. When you fall in love with someone, you like the person a lot. It's a wonderful feeling, and beautiful things happen. And you say you are in love with that person. And if you are in love with a person, you may decide to marry them in a church or a town hall. When you marry, you form a legal union with a person forever, and you say, I'm married. But it doesn't always last forever. People sometimes divorce. They separate from the person they marry, so they are divorced, and they say, I'm divorced. Do you have a boyfriend or girlfriend? Are you single? Well, if you're not in a relationship, then perhaps you'd like to try speed dating one day too.